Biography of Moshood Abiola. Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola GCFR was born on August 24, 1937 and died on the 7th of July, 1998. He was a Nigerian businessman, publisher, politician, and aristocrat of the Yoruba Egba clan. He was the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. M.K.O. Abiola ran for the presidency in 1993, for which the election results were annulled by the preceding military president, Ibrahim Babangida, because of allegations that they were corrupt and unfair. Abiola was awarded the GCFR Posthumous Award on the 6th of June 2018 by President Muhammadu Buhari, and Nigeria's Democracy Day was changed to June 12. M.K.O. Abiola was born in Abeokuta, Ogun State. His name, Kashimawo, means "let us wait and see." Moshood Abiola was his father's 23rd child, but the first of his father's children to survive infancy. Hence, the name Kashimawo. It was not until he was 15 that he was properly named Moshood by his parents. At age 9, he began his first business by selling firewood gathered in the forest at dawn before school to support his father and siblings. Abiola founded a band at the age of 15 and would perform at various ceremonies in exchange for food. Abiola was eventually able to require payment for his performances and used the money to support his family and his secondary education at the Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta. Abiola was the editor of the school magazine, The Trumpeter. Olusegun Obasanjo was deputy editor. At the age of 19, he joined the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, mainly because of its stronger pan-Nigerian origin compared with the Obafemi Awolowo-led Action Group. In 1956, Moshood Abiola started his professional life as a bank clerk with Barclays Bank in Ibadan, Southwest Nigeria. After 2 years, he joined the Western Region Finance Corporation as an executive account officer before leaving for Glasgow, Scotland to pursue his higher education. From Glasgow University, he received a first-class degree in accountancy, and he also gained a distinction from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland. On his return to Nigeria, Abiola worked as a senior accountant at the University of Lagos Teaching Hospital, then went on to a US firm before joining the ITT Corporation, where he later rose to the position of Vice President, Africa and Middle East. Abiola spent a lot of his time and made most of his money in the United States, while retaining the post of chairman of the corporation's Nigeria subsidiary. In addition to his duties throughout the Middle East and Africa, Abiola invested heavily in Nigeria and West Africa. He set up Abiola Farms, Abiola Bookshops, Radio Communications Nigeria, Wonder Bakeries, Concord Press, Concord Airlines, Summit Oil International Limited, Africa Ocean Lines, Habib Bank, Deca WA Limited, and Abiola Football Club. He was also chairman of the G15 Business Council, president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, patron of the Kwame Nkrumah Foundation, patron of the Webb Du Bois Foundation, trustee of the Martin Luther King Foundation, and director of the International Press Institute. Moshood Abiola married many wives. Notable among them are Simbiat Asinoke Shoaga in 1960, Kudirat Olayinka Adeyemi in 1973, Adebisi Olawunmi Oshin in 1974, Doyinsola Abiola in 1981, Modupe Onitiri Abiola, and Remi Abiola. Chief M.K.O. Abiola's memory is celebrated in Nigeria and internationally. June 12 remains the public holiday in Nigeria, starting from June 12, 2019, to be celebrated as a Democracy Day, replacing May 29. M.K.O. Abiola Stadium and Moshood Abiola Polytechnic were named in his honor. M.K.O. Abiola statue was erected in his honor. Moshood Abiola was twice voted International Businessman of the Year and received numerous honorary doctorates from universities all over the world. In Nigeria, M.K.O. Abiola was made the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, the highest chieftaincy title available to commoners among the Yoruba people. Abiola's involvement in politics started early in life when he joined the National Council of Nigeria and Cameroons (NCNC) at age 19. In 1979, the military government kept its word and handed over power to the civilian. As Abiola was already involved in politics, he joined the ruling National Party of Nigeria (NPN) in 1980 and was elected the state chairman of his party. After a decade of military rule, General Ibrahim Babangida came under pressure to return democratic rule to Nigeria. After an aborted initial primary, Abiola stood for the presidential nomination of the Social Democratic Party (SDP) and beat Ambassador Babangana Kingibe and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to secure the presidential nomination of the SDP ahead of the June 12, 1993 presidential elections. For the June 12, 1993 presidential elections, Abiola's running mate was Babangana Kingibe. He overwhelmingly defeated his rival, Bashir Tofa of the National Republican Convention. The election was declared Nigeria's freest and fairest presidential election by national and international observers, with Abiola even winning in his northern opponent's home state and over 2/3 of Nigerian states. However, the election was annulled by Ibrahim Babangida, causing a political crisis which led to General Sani Abacha seizing power later that year. In 1994, Moshood Abiola declared himself the lawful president of Nigeria in Ekwetedo area of Lagos Island, an area mainly populated by Yoruba Lagos indigenes. He had recently returned from a trip to win the support of the international community for his mandate. After declaring himself president, he was declared wanted and was accused of treason and arrested on the orders of military president General Sani Abacha, who sent 200 police vehicles to bring him into custody. M.K.O. Abiola has been referred to as Nigeria's greatest statesman. His second wife, Kudirat Abiola, was assassinated in Lagos in 1996 after declaring public support for her husband. Moshood Abiola was detained for 4 years, largely in solitary confinement with a Bible, Quran, and 14 guards as companions. During that time, Pope John Paul II, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and human rights activists from all over the world lobbied the Nigerian government for his release. The main condition attached to his release was that he renounced his mandate, something that he refused to do, although the military government offered to compensate him and refund his election expenses. Abiola died in strange circumstances shortly after the death of General Abacha on the day he was due to be released on July 7, 1998. While the official autopsy stated that Abiola died of natural causes, Abacha's chief security officer, Al-Mustafa, has alleged that Moshood Abiola was in fact beaten to death. A clause in Abiola's will required that his heirs prove that he was their father. Over 17 people were able to show that Abiola was their father using DNA tests.